Last week in geography, we zoomed in on the country of Kenya in East Africa, and we looked at the capital city, and we landed in Nairobi and had a look around. Now, whilst we were doing that, there's Kenya on a map. Let's use the arrow to point to it. We also zoomed in to some of the countryside of Kenya and saw a small village. Now today we're going to find out a bit more about the people who live in the countryside and who live in a very specific part of Kenya. We're going to be finding out about a place called the Maasai Mara. The Maasai Mara is in Kenya. This is a picture of it. It's a very large savanna, and savanna means grassland. There are trees there, but it's mainly thousands and thousands of kilometres of grassland. And the Maasai Mara is particularly famous for the animals that live there because it's such a huge area of grass. That's why it can support such huge animals. You couldn't have an elephant living in our country. There simply isn't the space for an elephant. But because the Maasai Mara is such a massive place, the animals are quite extraordinary. So we've got a rhinoceros there, we've got zebras, we've got elephants, we've got, could be a chimpanzee, could be a gorilla. But it's also famous for lions and for cheetahs. There's a lion, there's some pelicans, I think they are, some hyenas, and I think that might be a type of antelope. Now the Maasai Mara is also famous for the people that live there. They own large herds of cattle such as cows, goat and sheep, and they're known as the Maasai people. And the village that we zoomed in on last week was a Maasai village. The Maasai move their homes from time to time to follow their cattle. They have to remake their homes each time they move. The women make the homes. They're made of sticks and grass. Mud and cow dung is used to bind the materials together. One family lives inside a home. Now that way of making houses might have reminded you of something when we were learning about the history of houses and homes. Remember, we talked about until quite recently we use things like horse dung and cow dung, which is another word for poo, as a sort of glue to stick things together. Small animals like goats live with them in the huts. This keeps them safe from predators and warm during the cold nights. This is a Maasai village from above. They build fences with thorny branches around their homes to keep the wild animals away. This keeps all of the goats, cows and people safe from predators like lions. So this is the picture of the village from above, and we're going to look at that in a bit more detail in a minute. And this is the fence, which is about higher than a person, and it's made of branches covered in thorns. So it would be impossible for a person to squeeze through there, and an animal wouldn't want to either because it would be very, very spiky. They still have to watch out for elephants though. An elephant could stamp through their homes. Men guard at night to make sure no dangerous animals are near. So something with skin as thick as an elephant probably could get through and trample through that fence. This picture shows the animals going through the entrance to the village. So it's probably evening time because normally they'd be out sort of in the countryside on the grass, and they bring them in at the end of the day. And they also bring them in to milk them because they milk the goats and they milk the cows. Here's a close-up picture of one of the fences of thorns, and you can see there's an entrance there, but you can see there's some sort of sticks laying down, and they'd use those to block the entrance at night. So as people come and go in the day, they open the gate to the village, and then it's closed again at night. And there's another picture from above, it's probably a drone picture, and you can see the houses around the outside, just inside where the fence is, and the animals, because the animals are very precious to them, are kept right at the centre. And there's a close-up of some of the houses where you can see the entrance. And that's a map of the village, and we're going to be looking a bit more at that. This is another brilliant picture of a village from above, and you can see very clearly the shape of the village, the shape of the animal pens, and the houses all the way around the outside. That's quite a big village. There's a lot of houses around the outside there. And there's a close-up from another village showing the little entrances to the houses. We're going to go back and look for a moment at the map because your TLP for today is, can I draw a map of a Maasai village? Now, a map isn't a picture of the village. A map is taken from above, so it's as if you were flying right above and looking down. So if you look at this map, we've got these shapes show where the houses are. So it's not a picture of a house, it's a shape showing what it would look like from above. This bit here is the thorny fence, and then you can see the entrances and the exits. So the map is drawn from above. So if we look at a map of where we live, you can see there it says St Martin's School. These grey shapes are the houses, as if you're looking down on top. And lots of them are all joined together because they're like a terrace of houses. This bit here, it says William Clark Park. You might know that as the patch. And so that's shown as just an area of green. We've got the Lewis Road. There's this white road going down here. And it's done as if you're up in the air looking down. So it can be a bit hard to work out where things are. The actual school, this is where I'm sat there. This is the school here. And this is the playground to the school. So we're going to go back and look at the picture of the village. Now that almost is a map because it's almost from above. It's at a slight angle. You can still see the trees. What you're going to think about is using symbols to represent each different part of the village. So you're going to have a symbol for a house. So that could be a little rectangle shape, because if you look at the houses, these ones are rectangle shapes. Then for the fence, you could use like little crisscross shapes. And that could show the fence going around the outside. And also there's like tinier fences, aren't there? Little animal pens. Or you could just draw circles to show the animal pens. For the trees, you could do like cloud shapes. You could use colour, couldn't you? You could use a green to show where the trees are. And then the entrances, so you could draw some lines to clearly show, I think there's another entrance there, where the entrances are to the village. So you're going to use this picture, so freeze the picture, and that's the picture you're going to use to draw your village. I've had a go here at drawing my own map of the Maasai village. So I had the photo open and I used that to show me. So yours doesn't have to look exactly like this or exactly like the photo, as long as it's got these features, because all the villages are slightly different. And I've got a title up the top. And I noticed on the BBC website where there's a clip that I'm going to give you the link to in the description, it spells Maasai with 2 A's. So I've got 2 A's in Maasai. And then I've drawn my picture, and then down the bottom I've drawn a key. Now I want you to include a key once you've finished your map. And a key explains what the different symbols mean. Now we know what they mean because we've just looked at a photograph, so we can sort of work it out. But you need to explain what each of the different shapes stands for. So the little brown crosses, that's the fence of thorns. So fence of thorns, or you could put thorny fence, couldn't you? Fence of thorns. And the brown rectangles, those are the mud houses or the mud huts. And the brown sort of circly potato shapes, those are the animal pens. Means somewhere where they keep the animals. And the green bit, the green shape, they're the trees or bushes. And it's up to you where you put those because they'd all be in different places. And the little, it looks like a W, the red, that's for the actual animals. It's like meant to be their horns. So that could be cows or it could be goats. So instead of having to draw pictures of the animals, you're just using a symbol to show the animal. And the 2 black lines, that's for the entrance. Or the exit, the entrance and the exit to the village. So once you've drawn your picture, and you can do it on lined paper if you haven't got plain paper, and you can use colours as well because that helps to show what the different things are. I want you to write a key where you draw the little symbol and then what it is.